As we continue to work our As Sweet As blanket, you can see how we have many different sections of these alternating petals to form this flower-like blanket. So we're going to take a few minutes just to talk about some of the techniques that we will use throughout and built upon for each of these sections. Many of our rounds begin with a back post slip stitch around the previous stitch that we joined into. So to do that, keep your working yarn in your hand as you normally would hold it. Sort of twist the hook down around behind your work to come in through the back of that chain 2 around the front and back out to the back again. Yarn over, pull that yarn through the front and to the back and through the loop on your hook. So sometimes it works as you saw me demonstrate with the twisting motion there. Sometimes you can pull it directly through depending on your method of holding the hook and the yarn. But most rounds start with that back post slip stitch technique and then a chain stitch to count as a back post, either double crochet or back post half double crochet. So watch for those in each of the rounds. That isn't always shown throughout the video, but that's the technique that we'll use mostly. The lovely texture that we have to most of the rounds in our blanket are created by back post stitches. So we'll either be using back post double crochet or back post half double crochet. In the petal or the sort of peak part, we use back post double crochet. So for working that, you yarn over, insert your hook from the back and around the front of the stitch we're working out to the back again, yarn over and pull that loop through and up. And from there we just continue the stitch. So that was the back post double crochet. And then in between our petals is worked a series of back post half double crochet. And each of those rounds, as the petal is growing larger, each of these rounds and numbers of half double crochet in between grow smaller. And there will always be where we skip the first 2 past the petal. So to do that, sometimes it can create a fairly large gap. We want to keep our finger on the loop that's on our hook to keep it snug. We yarn over, enter around the back, pull that loop up as normal, and then I like to make sure that I pull tight or sort of push my work together so the loops are close together on my hook, and yarn over and pull through all those hooks so that we don't stretch this loop too far and create too much of a gap. There will be a little gap there, but not too much. So the pieces in between the petals are worked with back post half double crochet. Around the petals we use those back post double crochet. At the beginning and the end of each round of the petal part, we work 2 back post stitches around the same stitch. So the first one we work as usual, working from the back to the front and pulling that loop up and completing the double crochet. For the second one, we yarn over and we insert from the back again, but we want to work in front of the double crochet that we just used or just made to go around. So I'll show you that one more time. So we have the 1 back post double around this stitch, putting our hook in front of the stitch we just made to enter from the back and around to pull that loop out. We work another back post double crochet around that same stitch. There are occasional places where we will work 3 back post double around one stitch, so it's the same process, just working in front of the stitches that we already made to complete the next one. Okay, the 3 around one only happens on the center stitch on some of the rounds. So normally at the end, the beginning and the end of this petal part, is 2 back post stitches around the same stitch. Now when we work the last round of any of these color sections, we are not working back post stitches anymore. We will be working regular double crochet. So the rounds won't start with that back post slip stitch. And in that round of double crochet, there will be increases to help expand the size so that it works as we increase our blanket size. Another thing you will notice about our blanket is that these petals in the different color sections, they alternate where they fall. So to start the petal is always the same technique. So I will show you that now. It also falls in between the halfway point of the 2 petals of the previous color section. And for the first several parts, that will be clearly indicated where that is. But as you follow the stitches that are made in the center stitch of that petal and follow them up through, that is where our next petal would fall. So as you start your new petal, there will be a set of back post half double crochet worked before that, skipping 2 stitches, and then the petal will begin with 7 double crochet in that next stitch. And then you would skip 2 stitches, so be careful not to count the stitch that we worked into, skipping 2 other stitches, and then continue on with back post half double crochet on the other side of that petal. Then as we continue to work our rounds and enlarge this petal, the number of half double crochet in between will decrease. So we'll have worked several half double crochet, back post half double crochet, and skipping those last 2 before the petal. And then this is where that 2 back post double around the same stitch, you will always use that technique. The tip there as well is to hold your finger on that loop as you work this back post double to bring it up, and then if you can, snug those loops together, sort of fold your work underneath to keep those loops together, and make sure you're pulling that working yarn close to the yarn that's on your hook instead of stretching that loop over. So again, to increase, you will always start with those 2 back post double on that first stitch. And then in between, it sort of varies depending on where we are in the petal, but there will be some single back post double crochet worked around stitches. And then in the peak, or the second row, that's where we will work those 3 back post double around the same stitch. So the same technique as 2 back post double, where we yarn over, hook goes in front of the double crochets we've already made to the back to pull up our loop and finish the back post double. And then the last stitch of the petal part will be 2 back post double worked around that same stitch. Okay, so these are the techniques that we will be using as we work our way through this crochet along. Some of them are shown as we work it in the round. Some of them you will be referred to this technique as well. So enjoy as we grow our As Sweet As blanket. So for part 2, for the Sweet As Pie, we want to be using color A to work these first several rounds. It is suggested to insert stitch markers in the first and last usable stitch of each motif. And then we're going to be starting in the 10th stitch. So there should be 3 sets of 6 around the outside of each motif for 18 stitches. So if you want to go ahead and mark that and get prepared for that, you may. So using color A and starting in this 10th stitch of the motif, you can join with a slip stitch and chain 1 before you make your single crochet, or if you wish, you can join with a standing single crochet in that 10th stitch. And then we'll single crochet in 2 more. So we start this round off with a single crochet in 3 stitches. And then in the next stitch, we will make 2 single crochet. And then single crochet in 5. 1, 2, 3. So we started with 3 single crochet, 2 in the next, and then single crochet in 5, which should take us to that last stitch of that motif. And then starting in the next motif, we will start a repeat. So the repeat always should start on the next motif. So we will single crochet in 5 stitches. So 1, 2 single crochet in the next stitch, and then single crochet in the next 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and 2 single crochet in that next stitch, and single crochet in 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, oops, there we go, 4 and 5, which should be that last stitch of this motif. So we've worked the first repeat. You want to repeat that 5 more times around the next motifs, or a total of 5 times, so 4 more times, and then I'll join you as we start working on the motif that we started on to help you finish this round. So one little tip I found, sometimes there's a big gap between the stitches when we start onto the next. So that first single crochet, try to pull that working yarn fairly tight so they snug up next to each other, so there's not a big gap between the motifs. So I've worked my way around all of the motifs, and I've done that first set of 5 once more on the ending part of that first motif we started on. So you single crochet in the first 5 there, 2 single crochet in the next, and then you should have 3 stitches left before where we started, so we'll single crochet in each of those 3. We can go ahead and join to our starting single crochet, but do not fasten off. And you should have 120 stitches for this round. Round 2, we'll chain 1, which does not count as a stitch, and single crochet in the same stitch and in each of the next 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Skip 2 stitches and we'll make 5 double crochet in this next stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Chain 1. And we'll also work 5 double crochet into this next stitch, which should be the first stitch on the next motif. 2, 3, oops, 3, 4, and 5. We'll skip 2 stitches on this side, 1, 2, and single crochet in the next 14. 1, 2, 3, 4, 12, 13, and 14 single crochet. skip 2 stitches, and then 5 double crochet in that last single on this motif. 2, 3, 4, and 5, chain 1. So that is your repeat. We'll start that again on the next motif. 5 double crochet in the next stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Skip 2 stitches, single crochet in the next 14. Then you'll skip 2 and 5 double crochet in the last with the chain 1. So you can go ahead and work those repeats around. I will meet you just after this last motif to join to our starting motif. So after the last repeat, we'll have made that chain 1, then place 5 double crochet in that next single crochet, skip 2, and then we'll single crochet in the next 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Then we can go ahead and join to our starting single crochet with a slip stitch to end this round. Do not fasten off. There should be a total of 144 stitches plus 12 chain 1 spaces. Round 3, we will chain 3 to start. 1, 2, 3, and place a double crochet in that same starting stitch, or in the same stitch as we chained. Double crochet in the next 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And that should take us to that last single crochet before the group of 5 double crochet. We're going to skip those 5 double crochet, and into the chain 1 space that's between the 2 sets of 5 double crochet, we will place 3 double crochet. 1, 2, and 3. And then skipping the next group of 5 double crochet, we will double crochet in the next 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Then we're going to work 2 double crochet in both of the next 2 stitches. So 2 double crochet in the next stitch, and 2 double crochet in the next stitch after that. Double crochet in 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Skip the group of 5 double crochet, and then place 3 double crochet in that chain 1 space between the sets of 5 double crochet. 1, 2, and 3. So that's one full repeat. You will work that all the way around, remembering to skip the groups of 5 double crochet and working into the single crochet only and into the chain 1 spaces. And I'll meet you just as we're working that last section on that motif. So on that final repeat, we'll end with those 3 double crochet in the chain 1 space, skipping the 5 doubles, and then working double crochet in the next 6 singles. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We should have 1 stitch left over and 2 double crochet in that stitch. Then join to the top of our starting chain 3 to finish this round. For round 4, we want to slip stitch into the gap or the space between the chain 3 that we just slip stitched into and the stitch before it. So twisting the hook just slightly backwards, we will enter that space to pull up a loop and pull through the loop on our hook to slip stitch. And then we will chain 3. From there, we're going to work 8 back post double crochet. So the first one is around the chain 3 from the previous row. So in from the back, around the post, and pull up our loop and finish the double crochet for the first back post double crochet, followed by 7 more. So that's a total of 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 back post double crochet. So around the next stitch, so that should be the first of the group of 3, we are going to work 2 back post doubles. So 1 to work the second, your hook just goes on top of the double crochet we just made, and then 1 back post double around that middle of the group of 3, and 2 back post double around the next one. 1 and 2. So 2 back post around the first of the group of 3, 1 around the middle stitch, and 2 around the third of the group of 3. Back post double around the next 8, each of the next 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then we want to place a double crochet in the space that's between the sets of the 2 double crochet in 1 stitch. So we'll double crochet in this space right here. And back post double around the next 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Which should be the last stitch just before the group of 3 double crochet. So we will work again the 2 double crochet or 2 back post double around that first, back post double around the center, 2 around that back post, or 2 back post around this last stitch of the group of 3. So I'll just work that repeat around, and I will meet you on that last little bit before we join. So as you've worked your way around, after the last repeat, we will still do those 2 back post double around the first of the group of 3, the 1 around the middle stitch, and 2 around the last stitch. And then back post double in the next 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, which should be the last stitch. And then join to the top of our starting chain 3 to end this round. There should be a total of 132 stitches. Round 5, we're going to work a back post slip stitch around that same chain 3. To bring our yarn to the back. And chain 2, which counts as a back post half double crochet. Then we'll back post half around each of the next 8 stitches. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And then to start our repeat, we will skip 2 stitches, which are the 2 back post doubles worked around the same stitch. Into the next stitch, which is the back post double worked in the middle of that group of 3, we will place 7 double crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And then we'll skip those next 2 stitches, which is the second set of 2 back post double around that same stitch, and back post half around each of the 17. So we'll skip those 2 and then back post half double crochet around the next 17 stitches. 2, 3, 4, 9th of those back post half will be around that center double that's in the space between those 2. 16 and 17 back post half double crochet. And then we're ready to begin our repeat again, where we skip those first 2 stitches, 7 double crochet into the next. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, skipping 2 stitches and then working those 17 back post half double crochet. So we want to do that repeat a total of 5 times, and then I'll meet you at the end of those 5 repeats. So after your 5th repeat, you will work those 7 double crochet in that center, or the stitch that's in the center of the group of 3, skip 2, and then back post double in 8. Back post half double crochet in 8. Then we can slip stitch to our starting chain 2 to finish off this round. There should be 144 stitches. And if you haven't already, you might want to go around and poke those groups of 5 double crochet to the front so they pop out a little bit. Round 6, we're going to back post slip stitch around that same stitch again to bring our yarn to the back. Chain 2, which counts as a back post half double crochet. Then we'll back post half around the next 6 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Then we're ready to start our repeat. So we will skip these next 2 stitches, work 2 back post double crochet around the next stitch. So the first of the group is 7. We will work 2 back post double, 1 and 2. Back post double on the next 2 stitches, and then around the next stitch, which should be the 4th or the center of the group of 7, we'll make 3 back post double. So 1, 2, and 3 back post double around that center stitch of the group of 7. Then back post double around the next 2, 1 and 2, and 2 back post double around the next stitch, which should be the last of the group of 7. So 1, there we go, and 2, we'll skip these first 2 stitches here, then we're going to back post half around the next 13. 1, 2, 3, 12, and 13 back post half double crochet, and then we're ready to start the repeat again, working on those group of 7 with the 2 back post double in the first, back post double in the next 2, then 3 back post double around the center, back post double the next 2, and 2 on the last. So you can go ahead and work that repeat 5 times around. To end round, back post half double crochet in last 6 stitches. So for round 7, we will work that back post slip stitch around that chain from last round to bring our yarn to the back and chain 2, which counts as our first back post half double crochet. Then we will back post half in the next 4, 2, 3, and 4 back post half double crochet. We'll skip those next 2 stitches, and then around the next stitch, which is the first of that other group, we'll place 2 back post double. So 2 back post double crochet around the first of that group in that point. Back post double around each of the next 2, 1 and 2, and then 2 back post double around this next one, 1 and 2. And then we'll have reached that group of 3 back post double crochet, and so we'll make a back post double around each of those 3. 1, 2, and 3. Then 2 back post double around the next stitch, 1 and 2, back post double around each of the next 2, 1 and 2, and then there should be 1 stitch left in that center group there. We'll have 2 back post double around that last stitch. Then we'll skip the next 2 stitches and we're going to work a back post half double crochet around each of the next 9 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 8, and 9. And then we'll start that repeat over again with skipping the 2 stitches and working those sets of back post double crochet. So you can continue to work that all the way around, and I'll meet you just before we end this round. So again, when you've worked your way around, you will finish up the last repeat, plus work those stitches, those back post stitches around the center grouping here, and then back post half double crochet in the next 4, and joining to our starting chain 2 to finish this round. And again, there's 144 stitches for this round. Round 8, in the final round for part 2, we will chain 3 right where we left off, which counts as a double crochet, and then double crochet in each of the next 4 stitches. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then ready to start where our repeat begins, 2 double crochet in this next stitch, double crochet in each of the next 6 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Then in the next stitch, which should be the middle of that grouping, we will double crochet 3. So place 3 double crochet in that next stitch. Double crochet in 6 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then in the next stitch, which should be that last of that middle grouping, we will place 2 double crochet. 1 and 2. And then double crochet in each of the next 9 stitches. 1, 2, 8, and 9 double crochet, and ready to start the repeat again. So you can go ahead and work that around, and I'll meet you at the end of this round. So as you're finishing up your last side, you'll have done your 9 double crochet, then you're ready for 2 double crochet in the next stitch, double crochet in the next 6, 3 double crochet in the next, double crochet in the next 6, 2 double crochet in the next, and then we should be almost to where we started this round, and just a double crochet in each of the next 4 stitches. 2, 3, and 4, and join with a slip stitch to the top of our starting chain to end round 8 and part 2.